Go again, keep going. Go back to it, what you saying? Sorry, yes. There might be a little bit of a cut there because the audio or recording just died on us.
So yeah, as I was saying with that, it's very much like saying your thoughts out loud. However, contemporary, the thoughts are subtle, and it's very much like you can feel that the character feels. Not that you don't feel classical, but it's sort of unspoken, but it's there. And I think that's very much the difference with it. It's very present. So do you want to go into Bacchae now?
Yes, let's move on to Greek theatre. Let's move on to Greek theatre.
So starting right at the very beginning.
So Greek theatre, how did you feel when you got Greek theatre? Because I can tell you right now, I was like, I have to learn about Greek theatre. But I was just like, I'm sitting there like in my modern day sort of, I enjoy Netflix sort of laid back 21st century sort of attitude, like I have to learn Greek. Why the hell do I have to learn Greek?
I think for myself, where I think for some actors in training, or actors starting to get there, is like, with Shakespeare, I'll read it and be like, I'm reading. It is a different language in a sense, and it's like, what? And then you have to read it again, and it's taking time to be able to read it and get your head around what's being said. And I very much thought that that's what Bacchae would be like. It's like, oh, it's going to be a whole complete older time language that I need to educate myself on. Not that that's a chore and such. Like, I'm glad that I get that knowledge, and I'm happy for that knowledge, but it's sort of not wanting to be open to it without putting myself down, that I was like, right, this is going to take time and this is going to be lengthy and people are going to get this, and I'm going to put myself down because I'm not.
That come from my own personal attitude towards
it. That was very much
it was a very slow start. It was a really, really slow start because I
think I didn't give it a chance so much.
Yeah, I didn't really want to either. And it was a sense of, when I started reading, it was very much a sense of, I have to do this because my director has to do this. But then as it sort of, when it's sort of come into it, and the story kind of come complex, and everything sort of come.
I think because I was like, I'm doing this because I have to. It's a task that's been set, or it's something that is just happening in class, and not class, happening in rehearsals. It's happening in rehearsal, and I don't know, it did somewhat seem like a task that had been set, and it's like we had to do. But the more we read into it, I was really invested. I loved it.
I think the atmosphere of the class sort of picked up, because everyone in that class just sort of had. I'm hungry. It's 1. I just got here at 9. We've sat down for about 2 hours talking about cold reads and all this stuff. I want to have some lunch, please. And then
the atmosphere changed. Everyone was like, what? Yeah, what? And so, I'll keep saying it's on the website, but it was finding, so Euripides is some information that I found out about him, and finding out about other playwrights in that from Greek theatre. It's like I might bastardly name, but Aeschylus and Sophocles, and just finding that their work is appreciated, and their work is but Euripides had more of an impact, and I think that's an opinion that I've created from reading, like, it just shows he done different from them, and that's what made him more stand out, and it just, I found that information about that.
Yeah, so when we started reading it, so we started reading the Bacchae, and we sort of got, it was hard, wasn't it? It was really hard to get around the country, because we live in a sort of post-world where naturalism is so there, and subtext is so there, and context is so there. For it to all be pulled back to its original was difficult, I found. It was really hard for me to get a grasp on, if he says this, he means this. Where I am always embedding subtext into everything I'm saying.
I think that's on reflection, is very much reading something for what it is. Like, So to give an example, so Dionysus is talking about he was born from Zeus's thigh, and we was like, oh, what does this mean? What's this metaphor? Or
It was and
it's we were reading
and
too
it was
much
like
into
second born in his fire. So he was born.
He was born through
back,
through the explosion.
Yeah,
and so that did.
No, he was born in an explosion. And it was
But we was like, what does this mean? And like,
he's born in an explosion.
What, like, and is this like a metaphor or
and taking it from my teacher said, just take it as it is. Don't overthink it. Do.
Yeah.
Just do. If he was born in an explosion,
he was born in an
explosion. He was born in an explosion.
And I think again, we get excited. Again, it's like you talk about Greek gods, really. You're reading about Greek gods, and it's, I don't know, like Greek gods can do anything. And there was a certain scene towards the end where he's talking about a bull being caged and how he's able to free himself. And he's like, what does this bull mean? Is this bull like a metaphor for like masculinity? Able to like, it was literally like just he'd begun to make Pentheus sort of crazy. He said he would, and he did, and it wasn't like this means this grand idea. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And that was, and another thing. So taking something as it is what it is. If you didn't understand, don't sit there and try and make your own assumption of it. Read on.
Read on.
Definitely, read on.
Because that's sort of how they kept the audience going.
Yeah.
Because I said this, like, oh, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this?
Like we're being very analytical and trying to figure out which, in a way, it's very good for us to like learn and like progress and do that. But in terms of
half of it was just us needing to sit back,
accept it for what it is.
Accept it for what it is. Go. Because we spent a lot of time just talking about where we could have. Everyone just sat back, enjoyed the piece, and got it done. Which, and then we would have. I think it took us 2 days, didn't it? 2 days. We got this one, and then we jumped straight to Roman one.
Oh, so that's what I was just about to say. So Greek theatre is, you're told the
audio.
events.
It's an audio story. It's an audio sort of story. And then so we got to about lunch. We moved on to lunch, and when we come back, we took a little break from Greek theatre and we moved on to Pot of Gold. But we didn't finish it. We just sort of covered the first.
Oh, so that would be a complete whole different thing.
That was our.
We're getting onto that.
Yeah, we'll get on. But we.
But yeah, that's what I was going to say. The comparison. So we did read Pot of Gold, and that's like we did. We did develop that, which we'll get onto. But Greek theatre is very much you're told an event, and when Pentheus goes off into the mountains, and about how he's. Not revealing too much, but how like the women all notice him and the situation with the trees and how what happens to Pentheus is described. It's not seen, it's not stage direction, it is described. However, in Roman,
300 years later, they said, you know what, sod that.
So Roman
I actually want to see this happening.
Yeah, Roman was like, it's a sacrifice to God. Okay. The actors will take it in themselves. To sacrificing to God is a good thing, and what they're doing is like a thank you to God. And so there was actual killings and actual fight scenes, and that was on stage apparent, everyone could see it. However, Greek was you're being told this. And talking about sacrifice, what I was going to say is before a Greek performance, an animal would be sacrificed to the gods, as it is a form of communication to thank the gods. So they believed that sacrificing was the best way of communicating with the gods.
Yeah.
Some
of them would be literally ripped apart.
Yeah, so an animal was chosen based on the god's preference, but typically it was a pig, so it's all what's available and what isn't. And
that's a little bit satanic, isn't it?
And they believed that blood sacrifice was the best way to communicate with God. And this is again some of the more notes that will be up is I have further researched coming away from the session is the gods, the gods,
It was spiteful people.
the Greek gods, yeah.
It was spiteful people.
But it's like even the gods that weren't mentioned in Bacchae is just to know sort of the family relations and the family tree.
I did this in like primary school, and it's a lot of it sort of stuck to me. Like, and you see it in like modern day films like Percy Jackson, like obviously. So it has kept its own history background. And if we go back to how we watch Roman and Greek theatre, we can see a comparison between theatre today being very audible, like when we looked at a screenplay and we looked at a script, theatre play, and we could definitely see there was an audio story, and there was
we literally get onto that,
and so that was sort of like a parallel that we sort of come across.
So I think this is we'll talk about this more, and we've spoken about it, but so the Greeks personified things that they couldn't give justification for. They didn't understand how like water is apparent, and they give a god for that. The sky is like Zeus is controller of the sky, Poseidon is water, and just things they couldn't explain was given personification for a god.
For a volcano, it was a Greek god in a volcano.
Yeah.
Creating Zeus's weapons.
Yeah.
And that was their way of explaining the world around them. And we see that throughout history in just a general sense.
Yeah.
Don't we?
So and they're all like related, they're all family, and so I don't know, a Bacchae family tree. So
if you put this up on the website, if you put this up on the website, it basically shows the king at top, and we have all the.
It was finding out the family relations as you read the Bacchae more.
Yeah.
Like you knew of Agave sisters, but you didn't know who Agave sisters were, and just finding more about relation. So Agave, so Semele's Dionysus' mother, and then it was the sisters. So find about Agave, Ino, and Antono, and just carrying on and just find out more and more and more. And there's so much more to keep finding out, and that's, I think, for us, it's just having more research. And you won't always find answers for everything, but just keep asking questions and keep looking.
So
if we go on to the Crucible now?
The Crucible, yes, the Crucible.
So the Crucible by Arthur Miller is the screenplay versus stage play, and I'll let you go on about that.
So we were given a task, just like the Greek theatre, to look at two separate entities of script, I'd say. So you got screen and stage.
Yep.
And we were split up into our own little interventions. So we had two of, what was the main character's name again? So we had two of every character. So there'd be one side, I was on the screen side, and I'd read
I
the
was on
screen.
stage side.
And I was stage side. And then going back to the parallels of Greek and Roman, we watched how Greek theatre was very audioable, and we saw that in stage, where in screen they don't need it to be audible because you see the action, you see what happens.
It's more towards Roman.
Roman, because you see what's happening. Like, I don't need to say a lot because you've seen it happen. We don't have to hold information because you'll see it happen.
Yeah.
Like we went through like what was it, like 5 different locations and only one piece of dialogue. And it was very, very, very apparent how history has sort of developed in its own sort of manner, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. So this is what I say. So the importance of the play version of the Crucible is its dialogue. So the dialogue tells the story.
Very heavy.
It's as you said, like an audible story of like this has just happened, and like this, and this, and I've just come from this place, and I'm now going to this, and the story is carried through what they're saying, but in the screen, the story is carried from what you see, and it's very much visual. Although it is visual on stage, definitely, but it's getting the different angles and different shots. Because we're outside, we're genuinely outside.
So when we were reading this, when we were reading the screenplay, it showed the villagers of the town to be angry at the family.
Yeah. So that's so. If you carry on, so the characters on stage, there's actually only 10 characters on stage, and then with the characters on the screen, there's a lot.
There's a
more.
ton.
There's loads.
Because you can afford to have.
Screenplays have leeway to include characters that are not long-lasting and don't particularly affect the storyline. While on the other hand, plays need characters who support the story to have a purpose as the audience is watching events happening live. So rather than a film you can pause and be like, can someone catch me up? Stage, you're watching it right in that moment, and if you've lost the moment, you've lost something, and that's very much important for the actors and for us when we do stage, is to not miss a moment.
Don't miss something. Hold it.
It's important, yeah.
If you just take the time and just sort of be,
Yeah.
It's clear. It's a lot easier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you take? So what did you take from the Crucible or doing this?
So for myself, and I have wrote reflection again website, is I've never actually read a screenplay as such. Like I've seen videos, and this is something we spoke about in the rehearsal, is a side by side of the film happening and then the script following along. I've seen that, but not actually reading it for myself.
Because when you're watching videos, I didn't even know that you had these little things where it tells you shot, aesthetic, time,
So it's
setting, so that you have like blocks of everything. But if you watch
so for example, it says on the screen setting example, it says exterior, night, and then forest clearing was an example of the location. But the night is the time, and whether it's performed exterior, interior. And for staging, you can fake day and night, and it's not happening.